Well, hello and welcome back. Thanks for coming back. Where are we? That's what you're wondering. Well, this is the top of the Mercury Avenue. This is the avenue with all the big superstores and quite a few car dealerships. We just come past the Volkswagen dealership. That's where we started off, and that was a Mr. Harris coming out in that T-Roc. I know him. I've known him for many, many years. I bought a BMW off him when I first arrived in Cyprus. Now, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to my co-pilot, and she just happens to be the most beautiful woman in the world, and her name is Miss Ochin Gracivia Labuf.
Hello everybody, how nice to see you again and again.
And again. Now, we're heading down towards paradise. That's downtown Paphos Harbour. So stick with us. We're going to drop through onto a new section of road, and we're going to go through, well, hell. And those of you who are new to the channel perhaps don't understand what hell is. Those that follow the channel understand. That's where all the big diggings going on. And one day you go down it, this part of the road's closed. Next day that part of the road's closed. Familiar all over the world when they're doing road improvements. But the bits that they finished are much, much better than it was before. So stick with us, and you're going to watch as we drive all the way, and we're literally going straight, by the way, from Mercury Avenue all the way, sort of transcending through the older part of Paphos. And then we're going to take a right, and then we're going to head down towards the Paphos Mount, and then down to the downtown Paphos Harbour. And as you can see, it is a beautiful, beautiful day. The sky is still a little bit masked by the dust, because there's quite a lot of dust in the air, but it's still quite blue. And I promise you that sea is rather blue, and I promise you that Mr. Paul is dressed head to toe in blue. So all that's actually missing is
You, of course, you. So get yourself on a big boat or a canoe and start paddling like crazy, because we all are impatiently waiting just for you.
Well, I'm impatiently waiting now at a set of these red traffic lights again. What is going on in the world? You've got traffic lights absolutely everywhere. Why I stopped, I just don't know. The next set of traffic lights that go red, I'm going straight through them. Back to normality in downtown Cyprus.
You stopped, Mr. Paul, because you have to stop on the red light.
Not in Cyprus, you don't.
No, come on, you. Otherwise, you're going to be hit by the cars going from left and right.
Oh.
Okay. I don't have 9 lives like a cat. I just have one.
Only the one. There we are. See, he's got to go, and I've still got to wait.
Yeah, because it's
right.
An arrow.
An arrow?
Yeah.
An arrow.
Arrow.
An arrow.
Sorry.
An arrow straight through my heart from watching Gracivia Labuf,
Okay.
the most beautiful woman in the world.
Mr. Paul, this begins
What?
always.
Look at this one. He's just come through a red light. He's a traditional
Mr. Paul,
Cypriot.
you know what? It's like a competition. Who'll be first?
It is,
Who'll
yes,
be first?
yes.
Passing by the red light.
Yes.
Now, I know that you're naughty, but not that naughty to be caught by the boys in blue.
Ooh,
Huh?
the boys in blue, yes.
So,
and of course,
don't
when they catch
play
you,
with them.
When they catch you, what do? High five, and they go chuchka dancing down the downtown Paphos
I
Promenade.
don't think the chichotka of mine will help in front of them to persuade them not to ride the big fine.
Oh,
I don't
dear.
think my chichotka will have. And by the way, this chichotka is not chichotka anymore. I don't know what's going on the surfaces of the places around in Paphos. Or my shoes gone. I need to ask. I need to ask to buy the chichotka boots.
Oh, there we go. I knew that was coming. That's it. More clothes shopping as usual. Dayman, you've got an awful lot to answer for, that's for sure. Now, let's go and check with the
Dayman is always
group.
on my side.
She's always right as well, isn't she? Yes. But on her left side is the
That's
one
why-
and only superstar known as Anna Star.
That's why I love you. I love both. I love all of them.
Yes.
But what is Anna Star saying? That I shouldn't have such a lots of clothes.
No, she's checking the legalities.
She's
and
checking?
she says spend,
Wow.
spend. That's what
Oh,
she says. That's
my
what Anna
dear
Star says.
Anna Star. Thank
Superstar.
you. It's a women's solidarity.
Yes, solidarity. It's all girl power, especially in the Mercury Lounge, because of course we understand there are 3 girls in charge of that lounge. Starting off with the Dolly Bird, Miss Vivian, the greatest cook in the whole of downtown Paphos, that's for sure. And of course her two partners in crime are the one and only Miss Nessie, and of course the great, most beautiful woman all the way from downtown in Frodsham, Cheshire, and she's the wife of Ian the Butcher, who's a bit of a gangster, by the way, in downtown Frodsham. He's a real butcher, and he will butcher the life out of a pork chop, especially for you. What's her name? The beautiful lady known as Miss Beverly. So those are the three girls in charge of the crew, and running around and taking your orders and doing the deliveries and that kind of stuff. Look at that for a bump. Oh, look at that. This is hell, by the way.
Even this car, which is so soft, like a roll of the bread roll, so soft.
That's a nice way of saying it.
Yes, I'm translated everything what I say. Didn't you understand from my these languages that I know? Even for this bread roll, a softish, just baked bread roll car.
That sounds
it's
tasty.
It's even struggling.
Yes, it is. Yes, the roads are Sherlock Holmes. There's no doubt about that. So anyway,
Well, I hope it's going to be better, Mr. Paul.
well, it's going to be in the end, isn't it? But when is that end going to come? That's what we have to ask.
We'll see.
This road, as you see, this part now is, well, pretty obviously nearing its completion. It's waiting for a bit of, well, tarting up on the sides, I suppose, and then a final coat of tarmac. But just down yonder, I promise you, if we thought that bit was bad, well, it gets absolutely Sherlock Holmes. In fact, forget the Sherlock Holmes, straight through to the Chichorian English. That's how bad these roads actually are. You've got Honda and Peugeot on the right hand side here, and you've got a doctor's place which does, I don't know, all sorts of scannings and chemistryology and all those kind of things. And then you've got a Papa Antonio supermarket there on the right. And as you can see, we've just entered downtown hell. But as I was telling you, the man running around taking all your orders and doing the deliveries, well, he is the one and only, the superstar, all the way from Rotherham, and his name is Lord Dave Jono. There we are. And we've also recruited another man, because he's coming down to Paphos very, very soon. So we've got him in training, running around in the lounge bar, and he's taking your orders and all these kind of things. But most of the time, he does tend to stand in the corner and he's reading through the Breitling catalogue. That's what he's normally doing. So click your fingers and say, come on, Lord Nigel, let's get some of the Nigel Big Guns and the Dayman Specials and the JJ Tonics. Let's get some of these served to some of the guests in the Marika and Me Lounge. And as you can see, well, the roads are absolutely terrible. Go on, you've come far enough, so you may as well keep going. Wow, I've got to thank you. I'm shocked. I've got to thank you.
Oh, thank you.
I did.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah. What do you think of that?
Well, I'm very pleased
Very pleased for me.
Pleased for you.
There we are. Right. Courtesy normally when you're driving around in Cyprus, and I understand again in the rest of the world, it's not the way it used to be when I was a young boy. Remember, I'm quite old. But in the olden times, people were much, much more courteous. Nowadays, they've got mobile phones in one hand and a cigarette in the other and a frappe in the other. And that's just the policeman in Cyprus.
Let me tell you, can I add something to this, what you're saying? Because it's very important. I remember when people used to say that there is a culture on the roads, driving culture. There is a culture at school. There is a culture when you study in the institute. And there is a family culture. So on the road, there is also such a culture, like a driving culture. And it means, say, for example, if you let me go, Mr. Paul, I always have to wave to you, say thank you. And
well,
that's
you
it.
Should.
That's called driving culture. Many people know about it.
Yes.
All our lovely family, they all know. I cannot understand why some people haven't learned this driving culture.
Well, you'll find driving around Cyprus, you let someone out, and to be honest, most of the time they just grunt at you.
Yeah, you just have to
and
be
you wonder,
polite.
why did I do that? But never mind, you know, I come from a culture where you may as well have a bit of respect for people on the road. I'm not in that big a hurry, if you understand me, so I do tend to stick to the speed limits. And on that note, I warn everyone who comes to Cyprus, they are, should we say, well, they're wrapping it up in road safety campaigns as they do everywhere else in the world. But of course, we all understand the actual truth of it is that they're after the money. So if you do get to rent a car, borrow a car, steal a car, or even perhaps get given a car, drive it with a bit of respect. Try not to go through too many red lights, but most of the time, watch out for the boys in the blue, in the built-up areas as you are going out or coming in, because that's where they're going to get you, and they're going to give you an on-the-spot fine. And like I say, they're going to start high-fiving each other and chichotka dancing down the downtown gate of Paphos Promenade.
Chichotka. My chichotka is always wanted. And you know that my dream is to collect all these lovely girlies and boys and adults as well, whoever wants, and we all dancing. It's obviously going to be in our cafe bar, in our long bar, when we open in a lovely paradise, another paradise that we go into. And my dream is, well, don't you ever believe that and you did understand that I dance this professional chichotka, not even in the next life I will not be able to dance, but this my chichotka brings even more fun, and I believe this all people will join me, you know,
Hopefully.
whoever, and it's gonna be amazing, Mr. Paul. Can you imagine 50 or 60 people, the boys or girls or women or men dancing together this silly chichotka, and it's going to be hilarious.
It's going to be funny, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Now, shout out to some superstars. We have my cousin, King James. He's got a beautiful partner in crime. Of course, she is Queen Karina, and they have a princess of a daughter. And hopefully she's feeling that little bit better. And hopefully her face is beaming with a little smile, because she understands that I'm about to say Princess Dali. And Princess Dali is looking forward to Chichuchka dancing down the Gate of Paphos Promenade
Is she?
with Ms. Oching.
How nice, Princess Dali.
Yes.
How nice it's going to be when you come, and I'll hug you with all my love to you. And then only the thought that we can dance together. Never mind, many other people can join us in order to feel fun and make another people's heart more happy.
Well, you never know. If the policemen are in that area and they do get to give out quite a few fines, they might dance the Chichuchka with us
Can you
in
imagine?
celebration. Can you imagine that?
Yes.
You never know.
Oops.
Maybe even the Gumbaru #1, Fedonis, the mayor, may dance the Chichuchka dance.
You know, I would like to say that many people would love to. Now you don't have, oh, sorry. No, let me build the sentence correctly in English. Let me remember. You don't have to be shy. Now it's correct.
There we are. So, if you want to go dancing the Chichuchka dance with Miss Oching Rasivi Alabooth, drop her in the comments when you arrive. And guess what? We'll come and chauffeur drive you down to the promenade, and we will Chichuchka dance the night away.
One more thing I would like to mention. I remember when very first I did this. One man, of course it was not obvious in camera, but I'm explaining you, one man was looking at me and he thought probably, who is this epileptic woman? What's wrong with her? Am I going to go and help her or what? She's shaking in silly way, you know. He was looking at me and thinking, am I going to help this woman? Is she ill or something? It was very funny.
There we are. So, where are we? On the right hand side, that is the downtown Gate of Paphos Mall. And that means that will go through these lights. It doesn't matter. They haven't got there yet.
No.
That's the downtown Gate of Paphos Mall roundabout. We're going to go straight over it and under the thing called the Skywalk. And we're going to start our descent into downtown paradise, which of course is the Gate of Paphos Harbour. And the harbour is going to come back kicking stronger than it ever was before. And we're probably 2 to 3 weeks away from it. So keep coming back for more and more of our updates. And you never know, we might get to bump into you on the harbour, and we might get to give you that inside scoop when we catch hold of one of those restaurant owners, or possibly even the mayor of Paphos himself. You never know.
Do you know, I usually, when we go away this street, or through this street, I always remember where this word Sherlock Holmes come from.
Just there.
Just there. And I was sitting on that stone, and I wanted to say, your pronunciation, Mr. Paul, is totally shh. Then I was thinking, my little brain was thinking, what do I know in English in shh? I said, totally Sherlock Holmes.
Sherlock Holmes. There we
And
go.
he said, what? And I remember because he was trying to say Aya Salamoni. Salamoni, it's a woman's name. Salamoni, it's very archaic, old. Greek name of the woman. But instead of Aya sent Salamoni, he said Aya, correct. He said Aya, Salam Alaikum.
Salam alaikum, which means goodbye in Arabic.
No, it
it's a
means
greeting.
hello.
Well, it's a greeting. It can be both
Is it?
ways.
Greeting, yeah.
Yes. You can say salam alaikum when you arrive and salam alaikum when
When
you
you're
leave.
going off.
A bit like in Cyprus where you say yasas and yasas.
You know, Mr. Paul,
Yes.
the weather seemed to be so grumpy.
It is a bit grumpy,
Yeah,
yes.
but now it's so shiny. It's smiling to us,
It is.
and it's greeting us with all his hands, many hands,
Many, many hands. Indeed.
arms.
So we're going to
No
say
hands.
thanks for watching. Of course, if you like what you see, hit that like, click that subscribe, and why not come back for that little bit more of our madness. And if
love
you
this.
really like what you see, go through to our About page and please consider to hit the Buy Me a Coffee icon once or twice. That's how the channel is funded.
And I would like to tell you many, many thanks from the bottom of our two hearts. We're loving you and kissing you again and again for your lovely hearts, for your time, and for your coming back and again and again. And the See Today people is amazing. This is what I would love you to see. Stay with us and love us, because we're loving you to bits and kissing you from the bottom of our two hearts.